very short review of Raw. Not much to say. It sucked. The worst thing, if anyone noticed, at the end of the show, Roman Reigns demolishes Braun Strowman. How the mighty has fallen. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Almost a year ago or so, Braun Strowman couldn't even be stopped by Kane. By Kane. And I know that's stretching it because Kane, in his state, being older than me, already in his 50s, or nearly 50, he doesn't have the same strength and speed and all that kind of stuff that you would consider a monster like Kane be. But he took a huge load from Kane and still managed to come back and destroy not only him, but everybody else. He managed to turn over a semi. He managed to turn over a car. 2 cars as far as I remember. This man within 2 years, roughly within 2 years, say a year and a half, had made a mark as being one of the biggest monsters the show has had in years. And in one segment, he looked like a bitch. That he couldn't even get up by himself. He had to have Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler help him because Roman Reigns basically did a Samoan drop onto some boxes. Please. This was the worst Raw I've seen in a while. And I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the show. Not even with Ronda Rousey. Nothing. It don't even need to be talked about. The show pretty much sucked. No matter how there might have been a couple of nice things in it, the majority of the show was bad. That's the reason why I stopped doing major Raw reviews. I couldn't stand it no more. That's why I do these short snippets before I start Smackdown. So I finished. Let's do Smackdown. Now, when you look at Smackdown Live compared to Raw, it is a better show. And I was surprised on several of the decisions that were made in this show. Some of them going, what? But others saying, yes, smart move, you finally understood. So, let's open the show with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. Finally, we see Shinsuke Nakamura. I know he put on www.com that he's not going to wrestle anybody until he gets real competition. Wrong. This was wrong on the creative team doing this because it made Shinsuke Nakamura completely irrelevant. Shinsuke should have never been treated like this. It doesn't make a difference. They're saying that he has no competition unless he comes on TV and says it, or in an interview and say it. Putting it on www.com is dumb. Putting it on YouTube is dumb. It would have been better that he have it on the show because it would have made a much more greater impact. And I know putting on YouTube does give an impact, but not as strong as on SmackDown Live. Now, was the match good? It was okay. It wasn't a bad match. I'll say I was interested to a certain point. But I didn't expect Jeff to lose here. And I was hoping that Shinsuke wasn't going to job here, that something might happen, but I wasn't sure if anything was going to happen because you know how the WWE writing team likes to be. They like to give you something straight before sometimes they'll give you a curveball before pay-per-view. Sometimes they'll just play it straight and just screw things up. So in this case, Randy Orton comes out. He nails a Jeff Hardy. Shinsuke just magically disappears and is so sad that he's a freaking afterthought. Yeah, I don't even remember who was the one that got over on it. It doesn't really matter. Going into Hell in a Cell, it is interesting to me. This will be Jeff Hardy's first Hell in a Cell match. And when it comes to Randy Orton, I think this is his 7th or 6th. I don't even remember how many Hell in a Cells he's been in. I think 6 or 7. Other than The Undertaker. He's been in a lot of them, I think. So, let's go with that. Now, Charlotte versus Sonya Deville. Oh my gosh. And I gotta say this, if you are a Charlotte fan, tell me below, how can you justify what Charlotte did with Sonya Deville? And I'll elaborate on this. The match itself was, let's say, okay. Sonya is more competent than Mandy Rose. and I'm not, Mandy Rose, not Brandy, Mandy Rose. She's a little more better as a wrestler. Because she does have an MMA background, I guess she was able to slide into being a wrestler a little bit more. Because they're both still kind of green. And I won't say that Mandy Rose didn't look beautiful in her clothes. She did. She looked very curvy, very sexy, very beautiful. And she feels more like a... Well, she's a manager. That's wrestling. That's what she is. In this case, I think she was a distraction. Because once they put the camera on her, her body was so curvy, so sensual. You don't want to look at the match. You want to look at her. Which is a good thing, but not when you're trying to get over the storyline between Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Now, the part I want to talk about, hopefully I got this shot. If not, I'm going to get it before I edit this. Once Mandy Rose doing the commercial, she, not during the, I think during the commercial, no, not during the commercial. Mandy Rose put a triangle choke on Charlotte. Because she did try to do something during the commercial. She did try to get into a triangle choke as well. When she did that, she was picked up by Charlotte. And instead of Charlotte just doing a slam on her, she decides she wants to try and bounce off the ring rope. And then bounce her from the ring rope back onto the mat. And that shit went bad. Because instead of that, Mandy Rose's neck got whiplashed off the top turn rope. That was very bad. Remember, that isn't just regular rope. That is solid steel cable wrapped in tape. Or some type of plastic or tape lining. That could have badly hurt her neck. Because Charlotte put a lot of weight onto her neck. This is the reason why I say Charlotte, trying to be like her father, trying to do something that really she shouldn't be doing, can hurt somebody. And tell me, I have still not heard anyone say she's perfect as she is. She is not. That was stupid. She wasn't as strong as she thought she was. And she whiplashed Mandy Rose's back right here between the back of the neck to the base of the neck. No, the back of the skull to the base of the neck. That is where that rope went. She could have snapped her neck. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me below. But in the end, unfortunately, but it is the wisest thing to do, Charlotte wins. And to be honest, I'm going like, I don't want to see this. Where's Becky? Maybe she'll be on a Titantron. But guess what? Once Charlotte decides to take some pictures with somebody, she gets hit behind the back of the head, and it's Becky in the crowd dressed as a brunette. And then beats the crap out of Charlotte and tries to do this armor on her arm and tries to break it, but she releases it quickly. And then with the interview with the gorgeous, what was the girl's name? I can't even remember her name. But she's the replacement for JoJo. And if you put JoJo compared to her, I might try to get both pictures together. I don't think, no, forget that. I'm not going to put them both together because I don't know her name unless someone tells me below. She is very beautiful compared to JoJo. They're comparable. That's it. In the end, Becky gave a beautiful talk. Saying pretty much, I'm getting my freaking title on Wednesday and I'll break her arm then. That's all I'm going to say. And good. Now, the Samoa Joe and AJ Styles video packs. Let's go with AJ Styles first. It was in an empty arena. And then there was AJ Styles. It was good. AJ playing the face. I'm not saying it was great work, but it was good the way it's been structured. This, I have to say, is one of the most strongest feuds SmackDown Live has. In fact, it's one of the most strongest feuds in WWE other than the NXT feud with Gargano and Ciampa. And I haven't even been watching NXT, and I still know the Gargano and Ciampa feud, if it's still going on, it's one of the most compelling feuds that the company has. But if you're going to talk about the main roster versus the developmental, this is the best feud they have. This is it. There's no feud better than it. Other than Charlotte and Becky, that's for the women. The women have no feuds. But when it comes to the men, strong as they got. So he says, I show respect. I could have gone after Joe's family, and I won't because I do respect his family. And I refuse to go down the same road as Joe. And he just threw away pretty much 20 years with me. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to show him the reason why I am AJ Styles. And this is my house. I built this house. No one's going to take my house. I'm going to bury you under my house. End. That's generally what he was saying. Powerful, to the point, very good. But Joe in his story time, I should leave this for the end of the review, but I'm not going to go there because this needs to be done. When it comes down to Joe's story time, oh my goodness. He rhymed. There was some nice music. The pictures were done in kind of like a fairy tale form. It was nice. I'm not even going to recite what he said because I can't remember it. It was so good, I blanked. That's how good it was. Him basically saying that AJ built his house. He became so big for his britches that he thought he was better than anybody, and he neglected his home, his family. But now a savior comes, a warrior comes, the Joe comes, the great Joe. What was the name of that? I forgot the name of that gorilla that was not Smoking Joe. I forgot his name. But anyway, I can't remember the name of the thing. I'll probably put it below. But anyway, he made it very, very good. I was highly impressed. This went so well. This should have been at the end of the show. But they weren't going to put this video package at the end of the show. But it should have been. Because if they closed the show with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe's video packs, that would have made the show even more better than it was. I honestly believe that when Hell in a Cell comes, this will be the best match of the show. That's if Joe and AJ do not fuck up like Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ at WrestleMania. Because if they do, they're going to make SmackDown Live look bad if they do. Let's just hope they don't. New Day was at commentary when the Bar and Rusev Day, and he's in my face. Day. I am happy of the outcome. Look, we know the Bar needs to be champs eventually. But Rusev Day is more over than the Bar. And as I'm talking, you're seeing some of the images I managed to capture. Even Kramer, Kingston. I know George, one of my subscribers, does not like New Day. He hates their asses. I understand. It's an acquired taste when it comes to them. But I gotta say this. At least I will say they're being entertaining. With Kofi Kingston trying to do something funny like Walter Bronchite. Or Walter NyQuil, if you want to put it like that. If you think he's making you go to sleep. It doesn't make a difference. They are doing something better than what Raw is doing. Whether you like New Day or not, whoever you are, it's George or anyone else, at least you can say they are doing something different on SmackDown. And I will take that slight difference, even if it's not perfectly great. In the end, you got Rusev Day winning, which was the wisest thing to do. I'm not happy the Bar is not champs. What should have happened in the previous pay-per-view was the Bar should have been champion. They should have went up against the Bludgeon Brothers. They should be championed. And then Rusev Day goes up against the Bar. I think that would have been better than Rusev Day going up against New Day, for the simple reason that would be the best time to turn them face. Because people will boo the Bar and they will cheer Rusev Day like they did in this match. But they were cheering them a lot. This was a good match. Now, another match I'm going to talk about now. I want to get it done. And it was sad. What is it? True Money. Or Money Truth. True Money. And Mella and R-Truth going up against Sierra Almost. Well, it's Truth going against Sierra Almost. Near the end of the show, mind you. which is good. Truth is getting up there. Now, I want to say that I know people do not care about Carmella. They don't care about her. Fuck Carmella. Look, what have I said? What have I said? She is a manager that can periodically wrestle. If they relegate her back to that, ladies and gentlemen, it will do her well. And working with R-Truth, yeah, she's not really suited for an R-Truth type of thing. She's going to have to learn. She's going to have to learn how to work with R-Truth. Okay? But I do believe pairing R-Truth with her and Ty Dillinger, because Ty Dillinger can become a team with R-Truth. We'll have another tag team, and Carmella can recapture something that went on with Enzo and Big Cass. I really believe that will work the best. This should be what it should be. Now, R-Truth lost that because Sierra almost cheated. That means Sierra almost is going to have a feud with R-Truth, which is, let's be honest here. I said it last week, I still mean it. Almost is a joke. This is bullshit. He is a freaking joke. But at least he is working with someone that is charismatic, who is fun, who can wrestle. R-Truth is charismatic. R-Truth can wrestle. Having Carmella by his side, yes, because of the Mixed Match Challenge is coming up soon, I don't care. It's okay. But I'm not going to lie, once he moves away from R-Truth, unless they move it into the U.S. title picture, to go against Shinsuke Nakamura eventually, he is nothing but a jobber. It was a joke that he was brought up from NXT. Now, almost forgot. What was that scene, that interview with Asuka and Naomi? Oh my gosh. I've already said this. I wanted Asuka to go up against Naomi. I wanted a feud between Naomi and Asuka. Turn Asuka heel. Let Naomi learn. Let her have a long-term feud with Asuka. You know why? Because Asuka is a superior wrestler to her. I'm saying it as a Naomi fan. If anyone says I don't really care about Naomi, bull freaking shit. I love Naomi. I believe that she is a good wrestler that can become great with the right people to teach her, to work with, to grow with. Asuka has been around longer than Naomi has as a wrestler. She knows how to wrestle very hard, strong style type of wrestling, high flying wrestling. Naomi is a high flying wrestler. She has added some submission, but she is a high flying wrestler. She can learn a lot from Asuka. Now, mind you, if they make up a tag team, then she will learn by working with her. She's going to have to learn her style. But I really wanted Asuka to go up against Naomi. The rear view against the hip attack. That would be freaking awesome. Oh, I saw Naomi's avatar. That's from the game. I forgot what is it, WWE Champions? I forgot. It did a review. I know in my heart when Naomi found out that she has her own character doing a freaking rear view that was going to be shown Smackdown Live, she must have said, oh my gosh, oh yes! She had to be freaking tickled pink, and I'm happy for her because she earned it. She worked hard. Now, final thing to talk about. The end of the show, Brie versus Maryse. Oh my gosh. This is sad. Let's be honest. If anybody saw what happened, what was it, last week or week? No, week before last. No, last week. Not week before last. Last week because Nikki is the one who wrestled this week on Tuesday. Monday. When you saw Brie wrestle, she almost broke her freaking neck twice because she tried to imitate her husband, Daniel Bryan. That is not what she should be doing. She should be wrestling the style that she knows, which is not great. If you're going to talk about who's better as a wrestler, Nikki or Brie, it is Nikki who's a better wrestler, flat out. And I'm not even saying Nikki's a great wrestler. She's a better wrestler. Brie is not, particularly after having a kid and being gone for nearly 2 years. Nearly 2 years she's been gone. She is so bad in the ring. It was horrid last week. This week, she goes up against Maryse, who has not wrestled in 7 freaking years on WWE television. I'm not saying she hasn't wrestled, period, on the indies. Maybe she has, or maybe she hasn't. If she has not wrestled in 7 years, she needed help. Because that was bad. She wasn't a bad wrestler when she was still wrestling. If she hasn't been wrestling for years, I've seen Maryse. I'm not saying she was great. She was good enough to be passable. But since she has not wrestled in so long, no matter if it was on the indies or WWE TV, whether it was about 2 or 3 years the last time she wrestled, or 7 years, she looked bad. Jumping in and out of the ring was the wisest thing they could have done. That was the best thing. I was enjoying that. And then if they had left, that would have been perfect. If they left, then Daniel Bryan and Brie ran up the ramp and started fighting with them. That would have been the best ending for the show. But no. No, they didn't do that. Brie grabs her, tries to throw her back in the ring, and she didn't even know how to take a bump to the ring skirt, whacking her head. She was hitting it just bad. It looked so bad. Both these women look bad in the ring. This is going to be obvious that both their husbands are going to have to do the majority of the lifting when it comes to Hell in a Cell, because this is just plain bad. And worse yet, Brie is still imitating her husband, which is wrong. It looks so stupid, her doing the yes lock. Not because she's a woman. And I want to make this clear to any female that's watching this. It's not because she's a woman. It's because she doesn't work that kind of style of wrestling. And it doesn't mean she couldn't learn it, but she hasn't had no time to learn it. How long has she been back on TV? She can train all she wants. But once you get on television, it's different. And she looked terrible. Yes, she applied the yes lock properly, but it does not mean it was right. In the end, you got Daniel Bryan getting over with Brie. And to be honest, it just, yeah, the crowd was cheering, but I felt like it was a big waste of time. Because you saw the greatest weakness of Brie and the greatest weakness of Maryse. They're both bad. Either they're out of shape, ring work, you can go and work in the performance center all you want. But once you get on the main rosters, it's different. They should have had dark matches instead of this. They should have been doing house shows for the first couple of months when they came back before this. If they didn't do no house shows, they just came straight onto the show. It was stupid. They should have been doing house shows. But it's just me. And I will say the show was pretty good going into Hell in a Cell. Well better than Raw. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.